Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from sortofinteresting.com and today you're joining me on board good old narrowboat Abel's Ark and, wait for it, it's Christmas week my friends, and yesterday I had one of the best boating days of the winter so far. Let's get stuck in. So then my friends, it is 8:30, I've been awake since about 8 o'clock. We've had a workboat go past about a quarter of an hour ago. And as you can see, it's already been raining a little bit today by the rainwater on the windows. I've got to admit, that's a little bit disappointing because it's not meant to rain until well into the evening here. But that's the nature of forecasting the weather. And again, be prepared for everything is the absolute minimum you should do. Just a side note here, my friends. It's 25 degrees on board. Considering I haven't touched that fire for probably 7 hours or so, that's remarkable. You can see we've got plenty of smouldering coals still in there. Well, we've got far less water around on the towpath and in the air than there was the other night when I was running down to the bus last. And well, let's have ourselves a look. So the basic plan for the day was for me to hop on the bus nice and early, head into Oswestry to get a load of supplies, then meet one of the lads from work who hadn't been on a boat before, come back out to the boat via the bus, fetching obviously a load of supplies, and then take the boat out for a spin. As I often say, if I'm boating anyway, then I might as well get as many people on board as I can just to enjoy the experience of going boating for a while. And as you're about to see, it turned out to be an absolutely beautiful day despite the drizzly start. And well, you can see the sun there peeking over the right hand side hills there. Well, let's get on that bus. Don't worry friends, we'll be back on the boat in no time. Just wanted to throw these little shots in here just to illustrate how rural even the bus trip into Oswestry is. And I had a little bit of extra time after I'd bought my supplies and stacked my backpack full. So again, looking over the rooftops of town here, you can see straight out to the hills and trees and greenery in the distance. This is the town park, just for anyone who's interested. And, well, as I say, I'd got a backpack full of goodies, met up with my friends, and within no time, it seemed, we were back out on the towpath and heading back up to Abel's Ark. And again, you can see, just from the bus trip to being back on the towpath, how amazing the weather had become by the time we'd finally set foot on board again. So, by 11:30, not only had the supply run been successfully completed, but we had arrived on board again, and the ropes were untied and we were off boating. As you can see, when we set out, even though we had this blue sky above us, the sun was still battling against the clouds lower down towards the horizon, so we didn't have that proper beautiful orangey low in the sky sunlight streaming across at us. But that will soon be remedied in this video, trust me. And it turned into such a great day for boating that just before our projected mooring spot at the end of the trip, we decided to spin the boat around in a turning point, double back on ourselves, turn the boat back around at another turning point, and then head back upstream to our original mooring destination, just to make it into more of a day for boating, because it was just so fantastic, as you're about to see just now. What a beautiful sight this is. And as it was my friend's first time ever on a tiller as well, it was good to give him some extended experience of boating. Well, my friends, can you believe that against all the odds, even with drizzle this morning, this has actually been one of the only really proper good, beautiful mornings to get out and go boating on. What an absolutely perfect moment. Got my good friend Finley on the tiller here. Excellent first attempt at steering. Wonderful stuff. It's got to be said, it's great to see people from the generation coming up now who are still very much into the outdoors and walking and the countryside in general. Very reassuring to know that I'm not the last Shropshire lad. Anyway, what we're going to see here now is, ironically, because it was obviously Finn's first time controlling a boat, I'd been giving him advice as we were travelling along on how to keep control and stuff. And, well, as you're about to see, when I took the tiller here to turn the boat around in this big turning point, it doesn't go as smoothly. Could be just one nice simple single motion all the way around and off we go, but instead it turned into this 6 minute long, about 18-point narrowboat turn instead of one nice flawless motion. Don't worry though, because when you see me turn the boat around in just a second back downstream, I actually get that almost pretty much perfect. So that's something to make up for it. But it was definitely ironic that after giving advice on controlling a boat for the last half hour or so, I totally messed it up. Honestly, my friends, I cannot believe how perfect this day is. It's absolutely unreal, considering how wet and how cold and chilly you've seen it recently in some of my videos. The day that I wanted to move the boat, it's been this amazing day. So amazing that we're actually turning around from where I was going to moor up to go back up to the Lion Keys to turn around and then come back up here just for fun, because why not? Oh, how fantastic is this? Sorry, I'm having to use the shadow of the phone across my face so I can see what's going on ahead. Such an amazing day. And again, this is why, as I always say, if I'm moving the boat, I try and get somebody else to come on board just for the experience. And today, it's the middle of December. It's actually quite warm. It's a chill in the air, but with the sun on your back as we are just coming up here, I mean, if you look at that sky, so bright here that the camera can't focus on the light balance of it all. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, coming up with the sun behind you, you can actually feel the warmth on your back. Absolutely wonderful. It's a tree just here. Some of you may remember once upon a time when I used to moor up here on narrowboat Tilly. This was once upon a time a beautiful tree with all your golden leaves of autumn crossing over the canal, but as you can imagine, that wasn't doing the canal bank any good, so sadly it had to go. So we've dropped our speed to barely tick over now, and we're just, as I say, having a trip back to the Lion Keys, enjoying some very slow boating. You can see we're travelling here probably between 2 and 3 miles an hour. Across the way we've got the bypass road where you can see the cars zipping along. Although as soon as I said that, we actually had a blank bit of road there. So as you can see, as we head back under the bridge just by the Lion Keys here, you've got that traffic zipping across the road over the bridge, as I was just mentioning. And these are the moments that I've said many times. We're travelling at no miles an hour while the world's busying itself around. Here's my actual successful turn in here. Admittedly, we did have the jetties and stuff there, so in an emergency I could have run up to one of those and just use that as a nice place to push the front of the boat out from, but luckily it all went well. So as we were heading back, I just wanted to mention this. You can see there's some of these floating platforms about on the canal now in this general region up the top end of the Llangollen, and further afield I'm sure, as those are there ready while there's work going on over the quiet winter months as the canal's being maintained. This was the weirdest moment of the day when a squirrel jumped out of the tree. Well, didn't so much jump out of the tree as completely messed up his landing. You can see him there, splash. And if we zoom in again, you might have seen the video I posted yesterday before this video went live, where you got to see this repeatedly in slow motion and that. And what an incredible moment that was, because obviously it was total chance that we just happened to be there just at that moment. The squirrel literally missed the front of the boat by maybe 1 to 2 feet, and you really do think if we were a couple of seconds earlier, then we would have had an unpleasant incident with a squirrel landing. Goodness knows what would have happened on a steel boat roof. But just the fact that the camera is actually rolling just at that right point to get everything in shot, from the squirrel missing his branch as he jumped up in the tree, to landing in the water at the side of the boat. So as you can see, after we tied the ropes up and settled down on board again for a while, the weather had soon started to change and cloud over. The tree just to the left hand side of the screen is right by that turning point I made the terrible attempt at earlier. And those geese there are the same local geese that have been hanging around the general Chirk area since long before I ever moored up here in years gone by with narrowboat Tilly. And yes, as you can see, obviously get the pasta on the top of the cooker and you're good to go. We lit the fire, didn't put too much in because, as you saw, it had been a nice day in general. But ultimately, a little chill had started to come down after the sun had gone out, after the sun had gone behind the clouds, to make it sound like it was extinguished there. And we started to have showers and rain start crossing over. This was my original first ever winter mooring spot on Narrowboat Tilly, right here by the bridge at Chirkbank. And that would have been the end of 2012. My goodness me, that seems such a long time ago. Exactly 6 years ago, I would have had Narrowboat Tilly moored up in that spot. Oh, my goodness me. So, of course, we've got Chirk Aqueduct and Chirk Tunnel in the far background distance here. And, yeah, it was just another random moment of boat life. And again, for Finn to be here on his first day on a canal boat, just generally experience all this, from the beautiful boating in the sun to then being on board, tucking into a bit of pasta with the fire going and rain on the roof, and then wandering out in the cloudy, overcast afternoon and just having a wander down the towpath, go over the aqueduct, and as you can see here, wander through Chirk Tunnel, just for an hour's walk or so. You can see just how dark it is here, and because it has been so wet recently, you can see how there's so much water just seeping in through the brickwork all over the place. So in the middle of the tunnel, you might have big puddles on the path that are then running down into the canal. This is Chirk Tunnel from the far side, looking incredibly dark and foreboding there. And of course, we'd left the fire smouldering over when we'd gone out, and then came back for about an hour or so before Finn went home, and again stacked up a load of stuff on top of the fire to get it really going for the evening, just to take the chill off as the evening was really starting to come in. And yeah, it was fantastic. So once I was on my own, I did a little bit of writing and work for the next book that I'm doing as this free audio book, so I hope people will enjoy that. And I did much later on go out for a walk just to have a wander around and see what the general environment was like in the dark and see some Christmas lights, but ultimately it started raining so heavy that I thought, you know what, there's no point in getting absolutely soaked for no reason at all. And yeah, we went from a drizzly morning to a beautiful summery, almost tropical boating experience for this time of year, and then ultimately ended up back on the boat on my own in the evening with rain on the roof, and rain that didn't really stop until after I'd gone to sleep. So I suppose this is a good point to draw this video to a close and say thanks for tuning in. Please do subscribe, check out my hundreds of other boat life videos from onboard Abel's Ark and Narrowboat Tilly in years gone by. Hit the notification bell so that YouTube will actually tell you when I post a video. And please do consider checking out my short books for the Kindle as a paperback collection, and even one of them as an audiobook. If you're really curious, then please check out my Patreon, which is supporting my ongoing free audiobook plan. So check that out. You'll see a very cringeworthy video of me. You'll find loads of links in the description to me all over the internet, posting random boaty pictures on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. But until the next time, my friends, just have an absolutely fantastic day. Keep it interesting, keep it boat worthy, and of course, my friends, farewell.